Hello, I'm Caroline, and I'm the Director of Finance and Support Services for Tigon Games. The purpose of these videos are to go over the models and techniques that you may find useful as you develop your coaching practice. Double loop learning is a concept and process that involves encouraging one to think more deeply about one's own assumptions and beliefs. It was created by Chris Argyris, a leading organizational thinker in the mid-1980s, and it developed over the next decade into an effective tool. The benefits of double loop learning is that it enables longer-lasting transformational change, rather than behavioral change, which may be a short-term fix. The model starts with what are described as assumptions. These can relate to a person or the organization and are based on the way we, or one, does things around here. Our actions are thus based on these assumptions, and these lead to the results we get. Single-loop learning is generally attempting to improve the system as it is, and does not question whether the underlying assumptions are correct. Double-loop learning challenges these assumptions, and as a result can potentially transform the system. Double-loop learning differs from single-loop learning, which is essentially, are we doing things right, to are we doing the right things? An often used example to demonstrate the difference between single and double-loop learning is that of a thermostat. The thermostat changes its behaviour because of a rule, i.e., if it is hot, the heating cools down, and vice versa. We had an example of that at Tigon, where some clown put the thermostat on the roof of the finance department and at the mercy of the weather. And as a result, when the weather outside was baking, the temperature was icy inside, meaning thick gloves, scarves and wrinkly thermal stockings were the order of the day. And in winter, where there was snow and ice, the thermostat upped the temperature to tropical levels, and I was boiled. Now, if the thermostat was able to challenge its assumption that it always has to reduce the temperature indoors if it's hot outside, and maybe react to room size, numbers of people in the room, etc., then that would be double-loop learning. To demonstrate the effects of single and double-loop learning, consider the case of Ollie, the data center manager, and one of his team leaders, Raoul. Ollie had been very highly rated, with his team regularly getting the Tigon Top Team Award. But things changed recently when William and his finance team won the award. Ollie pondered why this might be, and quickly realised that it was Raoul that was the weak link, as he was convinced he was lazy. Ollie believed that the evidence was mounting up. Late back from lunch. Daydreaming in the office. Handing Ollie his report late, which meant that he had breached the new targets that Ollie had set for him. Ollie was convinced that Raoul was not making an effort to meet any new target that he had set, so he consulted the handbook and prepared to issue a written warning. But Raoul countered it with a grievance on the grounds that he was being picked upon. This whole dog's breakfast was caused by Ollie taking a single-loop approach. He assumed his approach of applying more targets was correct, and that his underlying assumption that Raoul was lazy was also irrefutable. Plus, he had been highly rated within the organisation, so he must be right. It was Fiona, Ollie's new boss, who took a coaching approach with Ollie, gently yet firmly challenging his evidence and his assumptions behind it. Fiona asks Ollie whether being late meant that Raoul was lazy. What other reasons could there be for Raoul carrying Quinn's shopping bags? Ollie said that Raoul was always helping others at his own expense. And was Raoul daydreaming? As Ollie said that, with hindsight, Raoul looked rather worried. Finally, Ollie sits down with Raoul to have a heart-to-heart. Raoul reveals that he's been staring into space, wondering how he can make the reports better, as Ollie always questions him about them. Ollie realised he had got it wrong and wonders who else he has misjudged. Fiona, in challenging Ollie's original assumptions, enabled Ollie to have a different perception of Raoul. And then Ollie was able to challenge Raoul's assumptions about himself and the reports. And finally, using the double loop learning model enabled Ollie to make a transformational change to his leadership style. Challenging assumptions is key, and our series of videos on probing questions will give you examples of questions to use. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any comments, suggestions, or need any more help, then do get in touch. Not too bad? Not aware of any blunders? Was that a wrap, as they say?